So from a therapist standpoint, working with children, they're able to show their parents. Parents are able to see this progress and see areas that are still developing or still being worked
Mhm.
on. We've talked about the difference in the treatment and the technology. We've discussed the advancement of this technology, but now let's examine the child. What's the difference from what you had experienced before and now the results now and the families?
Well, I think one thing I'm noticing with the families is, again, like we take facial expressions for granted. And normally, in kiddos or individuals on the spectrum, like they really they either can't read them or they can. Like they really can't read them or they're reading them enough to get by. But this is able to show, like, hey, look, but they're actually missing these really like little subtle things, which is why when sarcasm is coming up, they're not seeing it or they're not getting that that's happening, which has really big social implications, right? You don't realize someone's poking fun at you because you can't tell, because everyone, when they're poking fun, does something a little different with their face. So helping parents see that and see the value of it. I've also had parents say to me, like, whoa, I didn't realize what I was doing when I was mad. Like, I didn't realize I had such a pattern, because I noticed that with kids too. If I say, show me mad, they'll show me what their parents do, because those are their biggest examples, right? But now they're seeing, like, oh, maybe a mad teacher face looks different or a mad kid face. So they're seeing all different implications. And again, it's more fun index cards and me pulling out. It was called the emotion binder, and it was just pictures of all different faces and people doing different activities. And now I have one place to pull stuff from. So also when I'm doing these things, it can be much shorter. It's a very, I can do it in like little 5-minute increments. It doesn't have to be this like long extended session.
Wow.
It's funny, when we went to some of the seminars I've been to, you would see these kiosks full of, expression binders and stuff, exactly what you said. And I was always looking for, well, what else is there? And last year I went to the help group session at the Skirball Center, and they actually had a lady that was trying to do a technological presentation of faces just like that, out of the binder, but much more on the iPad. But it was still third person. It was looking outward. It wasn't looking inward. And so it was just kind of a lot of the same things, only on a technological, you could push the button if you recognize happy or recognize it. It was still the same to me. I'm like, well, it doesn't really open up the kimono to the kid.
Yeah, I think you're bringing up a good point, Glenn, that I kind of forgot to mention. A lot of my kids don't look at themselves in the mirror. Like, it's just not a natural inclination for them. They're not thinking about what their face looks like. So again, this was a way to subtly start doing that, and it's kind of gamified and it's fun, and it took away the uncomfortableness. Because think about it, if you're an individual who already finds sometimes like language overwhelming, sounds, whatever, like you don't always make direct eye contact, your natural inclination is not going to be looking at yourself in a mirror, right? So it's a different way to start to broach this. And it's great that we can start it young, because typically what happens is I'm working on it at 26, because this kid is going for a job interview and his face looks really tense and uncomfortable, and the person can't read what's happening because it's such a mismatch with their words.
Yeah, that's a good, we always say, I like to think that it's a good app for transitional times.
Yeah.
Like looking for a new job or new school, that kind of thing. It's like practice your face.
I think about the neurological cerebral processing. I have an amblyopic eye, and so that's a neurological developmental condition. When a child is able to correct this amblyopic condition by having eyeglasses or putting a patch, you're making the eye that's weak, that's not developing properly, expand in its neurological connectiveness to then develop. If it doesn't happen, its roots don't develop, and there's a disconnect. And even though that it's all there, the mechanical parts of my eye, however, the software isn't there. And so I think of this, if you could take the parallels, right? Okay, so I have this undeveloped area, right? And now I need technology to help exercise and bring into a flow of that expression or that development or that movement. It's the same way, same scenario, and it's a amblyopic type condition, but it's of emotion.
Yeah.
And so if you're able to develop this and catch it, like you said, parents, they say, oh, I had a hunch, I had a feeling in my gut. And that's important, because if you are able to identify it early, right, you're able to develop and create this neurological connection while they're young, just like the amblyopic situation. So what I'm trying to share here is that, this is, has been around, for decades, and we're just realizing this. We're just realizing, oh, maybe we just need these crutches, these braces, like you have, teeth that need to form it. These are crutches that are cerebral or neurological, just like this eye thing. And now it's this emotion. So fast forward, here we are, 2020, and we have this technology that is, in a sense, this brace for this part of a neurological process that's connected to emotion. That's how I see this. And both your roles, I think it's unique. Glenn, being from the engineering of sound, right, and being an expert and a master crafter of music and emotion, coming to this place of understanding the technology, and you, Allie, this specialist in therapy of development, speech, behavioral, to configure basically you guys have basically an education program. So it's almost as if, like, if you have a parent or a therapist just go through your programs, they pretty much will have a successful result of their child, of development of these emotional competencies.
Yeah.
This is what you guys, this is what I didn't know this of you before we had this call. I thought you were just some therapist that used this. I didn't know you were at this level of being involved with this. So this has been really fascinating for me. I love tech. I love how our human species is evolving, and it's evolving with the environment. And one of these things in the environment is tech.
Yeah.
And I find this very exciting, this technology, where you have a lot of negativity towards technology. We have too much time. But and that's what I believe, that it's not that technology, it's bad. It's like the two wolves. You have a good wolf and a bad wolf. So let's feed the good wolf. Let's feed the good technology that will advance our humanity. And that's what I believe this is an example of.
Well, Allie, you told me at one point that autistic kids like working on the iPad, right?
Yeah, it's definitely, I would say it's like an intrinsic motivator for children at this time. Yeah. And especially, look, we're all home in quarantine, right? So it's like there's time to be working on this. And it can be short. Like, this is made to be like little snippets.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this is fascinating, where I think a lot of families may have felt a little hopeless or lost. And now there's information and resources like this, and individuals like you guys, I'm sure, parents are a little frightened when they find out their their child may be on the spectrum and don't know what to do,
Yeah.
and they want to express love and have that connection. So where I want to I want to leave with an affirmation, and I'm a big mastermind type of practitioner, so I want to leave with a positive note, maybe something to parents or to therapists, as a kind of a close and a takeaway. Allie, what would you want to share with parents or therapists in a kind of like a affirmation towards where we are and what we have today?
Yeah, I mean, I think just in conclusion, like, this technology truly is helpful, and it's been like a big part of my therapeutic toolbox, because I was missing that real-time feedback with kiddos and being able to show them what's going on with their faces. And I haven't really brought this up, but I've also used it with adults, and it can be tricky with autism. Like, they work for a tech company and they're so smart, but then those facial skills aren't there. So helping them see sometimes what they're missing has been like so valuable. So I think this is an area that we maybe have always known was important, but it was such a specific thing, we weren't always sure how to work on it. And now there is something that we can use to work on this.
Glenn, you want to share anything? Are there any other items that you want as in the topic of therapy and treatment?
Sure. The thing that we discovered that I didn't know about, even with my limited knowledge of autism up until this point, that with kids, there's so many levels of autism. You can't just say, okay, this one kid represents autism, but that's not true. There's so many levels. And one of the things that we discovered by accident, one of the lower level kids Allie, you were having such trouble even just getting this one kid's attention. Mm-hmm. And I think he heard one of the noises on the app, and he immediately went, "What's that?" And they grabbed him, and a light went on in my head, like, "Oh, maybe we need to add more sounds to this thing, make it more robust." So this is an ongoing thing for me. It's trying to improve on it and trying to get people to understand this is just a tool, another tool in the toolbox, but hopefully it could possibly be a valuable one.
A most valuable one. You're so modest. You're so, guys, this is, first of all, it's being able to have it all in the palm of your hands. Being able to identify your face, mm-hmm. and then know its emotional barometer, like where you're at. That's fascinating. Then to be able to train you or to guide you to what that means. This is, there's not anything else like it. And in a formula that's applied like this, I think it's uplifting that in today's world that you have information and technology that you're actually able to help and change people's lives and make this world a better place. This is not cliche. This is really true. Families are going to have better lives. They're going to have children that are going to be able to connect with the world around them. That's what this, to me, is, and why I feel this is very exciting and worthwhile to discuss and to be able to share with other people, to parents, to therapists. And if you're not affected by a family member that has autism, but understand that we have technologies and people like you guys out there, and things are evolving. So, Allie, I appreciate you. I know that, we were trying to fit this pocket window to make sure we had a full conversation and not rushed and everything like that. I'm sure that we're going to have more conversations as we're developing this communication and these tools along for other parents and for other therapists. So thank you.
Of course, thank you.
You could get this technology on
It's always
a pleasure.
Store,
You know, I think this is really
Apple
cool
Store,
stuff
right?
that you're doing.
Yeah, store, right. Thanks.
And then
diversity
website
and
and domain
multiplicity
name
of
is
genius.
Can you share
know,
that with us? Application to this. is really cool. So,
noisasapp.com.
thank you very much, guys.
Spelled out.
NOESIS app, app.com. And you can go to Facebook and just dial in Noesis ASD, or you can go to Twitter, find it there too.
Right on. Right on. Well, thank you, everyone. Allie, you rock. Glenn, you're amazing.
Thanks, Ten. Awesome
Thank you.
job.
We'll
Thank
chat
you.
later. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Allie.